Has Boris Johnson misled Parliament?
Did you lie to Parliament, Prime Minister?
There was no party, no COVID rules were broken.
What does that actually mean? And what could happen if it is found that he has?
They're the big questions, but the answers aren't so straightforward. The main way to mislead Parliament is to lie when making a statement in the chamber. Opposition MPs say Boris Johnson did just that by previously denying any rule breaking took place at Downing Street and in Whitehall during lockdown.
Lying to Parliament is considered to go against all expectations for how politicians should behave. It's so serious, even just accusing someone of being a liar can get you kicked out of the chamber by the Speaker of the House.
The Prime Minister has lied to this House time and time again. I order the member to withdraw immediately from the House for the remainder of the day's sitting.
He misled the House. He must now resign.
You're going to have to withdraw misled.
It's not my fault if the Prime Minister can't be trusted.
But while the Speaker can enforce how people speak to each other in the Commons, they have no power to decide whether or not something that's been said is a truth or a lie.
For that, there are two codes of conduct that politicians can be judged by.
First, there's the Ministerial Code. This is for MPs who hold positions in government. It states that it is of paramount importance that ministers give accurate and truthful information to Parliament. Secondly, there is the Code of Conduct for MPs more generally. That contains the Nolan principles of public life. One of these is honesty. It says holders of public office should be truthful.
If ministers give inaccurate information to Parliament, they're expected to correct any inadvertent error at the earliest possible opportunity.
Typically, they'll submit a written statement clarifying things. Back in February, the Prime Minister had to do that after telling MPs that the Russian oligarch, Roman Abramovich, had been the target of sanctions before he actually had.
Of the Duma, Abramovich is already facing sanctions.
Sometimes MPs will do the same by raising points of order and correcting the record.
If ministers are accused of misleading Parliament and refuse to retract the statement, they could be subject to a ministerial code investigation. If the independent advisor on ministerial interests investigates the allegations and finds a breach of the code, the consequences are clear.
The rules that set out the procedures of Parliament, known as Erskine May, say ministers who knowingly mislead Parliament will be expected to offer their resignation to the Prime Minister. In 2018, Amber Rudd resigned as Home Secretary over the Windrush scandal, even though she said she'd only misled Parliament inadvertently.
We don't have targets for removals.
But here's the thing, an investigation can only be launched at the instigation of one person, the Prime Minister. That makes it pretty awkward when he's the one denying the allegation in the first place.
And even if an investigation was launched, the Prime Minister is the ultimate arbiter when it comes to the punishment. In 2020, Priti Patel was found to have breached the ministerial code.
Allegations that Priti Patel bullied Home Office staff will find that she broke the ministerial code.
She apologised, but the Prime Minister didn't ask her to resign.
So what other options are there?
MPs can debate what's known as a substantive motion and then vote on whether the House of Commons accepts the allegation.
Erskine May says MPs could be found in contempt of Parliament, but according to the Institute for Government, it's not clear what actual repercussions could come from that. In the end, proving that someone knowingly misled Parliament isn't at all straightforward.
If a government has a big majority, then they should be able to vote down any substantive motions brought by the opposition party that suggests it.
And if a Prime Minister doesn't want to launch a ministerial code investigation, then nobody can force him to.